Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Breaking Bedrock. My name is Fiasco. Thank you so much for joining me. First thing that you'll notice in that top right corner, Muri is now a regular cow. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't want to talk about it. We are beginning today's episode in the base because this is what we're going to be working on today. We have a lot of things to do. We've made some progress last episode, but boy, this foundation layer is turning out to be quite the project. But I have done a little bit of work off camera, and by a little bit, I mean about 40 hours. And I'll show you the majority of that work in a moment here, but for now, this is what I'm talking about for in the base. I have redone the Melon Farm, and boy, it is looking pretty sharp, if I do say so myself. Now, let's go over this because I'm actually pretty happy with that. This is what I've been working on today, and I am so happy with how it turned out. So as you can see, we have a much better system than we did before. That other one wasn't really producing all that much, and this one is much better. Also, I've added some add-ons to this world, just a few little technical modifications. So, for example, you'll see that Redstone looks a lot nicer now. Also, I'm holding a totem of undying, but you can't see that in first-person mode. That's another one that I've added. So there's a few other tweaks and changes that we've made along the way, quieter nether portals, things like that, but as they come up, I'll try to mention them, and if you have any questions about the add-ons or how I got them onto console edition, let me know and I'll try my best to explain it. So as we can see here, this is a fairly standard design actually, and it's just got the hopper minecart underneath it, but what really strikes me in this design is just how clean it looks. I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out when I started building it, and I am so happy. And we are going to keep the same scheme kind of going for the rest of these rebuilds. I'm going to rebuild all of this. Look how ugly this is with the white glass. Oh, right! This glass is probably what you'll be noticing first. The glass texture has also changed with these add-ons, so we now have smoother glass. And I am in love with it. This colored glass looks amazing. However, the white or the clear glass doesn't really do it for me. It's kind of got these saw blade edges on it, and I'm not really vibing with this. So I didn't like the clear glass that much before, and now I'm really not vibing with it. So we will be changing that, but this is actually kind of a long process to remove a farm and then completely rebuild it. So we'll get there when we get there, but this is kind of the scheme that we're going to go with for the rest of the farms, and I think I'm going to put a melon farm exactly like this right on top of it, on top of this one. And that's going to put us above our walls here, but I think I'll be able to make it work still. It won't be that high above, and the design that I'm going for should enable us to build a little bit taller in the long run. So, but let's pocket that for right now so I can show you what else I've been working on. And as we make our way over here to the abandoned ruined village, you'll notice there's a massive hole in the ground. That's right, I have done a ton of digging, and that is all to get us some sweet, sweet slime. And you'll see where I gave up trying to make the walls look pretty. This took a long time, so I'm sorry that it's not perfect and the walls don't look amazing, and I didn't go through and do all the details, but I just couldn't spend any more time on it, and to be honest with you, this thing actually is a bit disappointing on its own, and that has nothing to do with the design of the farm, because this farm was designed before the spawning and despawning rules for Bedrock were changed. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, imagine me, the player, is right here in the center. No mobs can spawn within a certain distance around me, and then after that distance, the mobs can spawn, but there's a cutoff and they won't be able to spawn past that distance. So what you get is your player and then kind of a donut sphere where mobs can spawn. But that sphere is 3D, so yeah, kind of hard to visualize with a two-dimensional model here. But the point is, my AFK spot here just includes way too much surrounding area that I haven't been able to mob-proof yet. And so the rates here are pretty good. I did a ton of mob proofing after the first AFK session because I was really unhappy with the rates. And now we're looking at, I get about a chest and a half of slime balls overnight, which is not bad. That's, you know, the rates aren't stupendous, but it's likely more, it's also kind of a pain to get in and out of. It's likely more slime than we'll actually need to use, so I'm not going to stress about having the most efficient farm in the world and just be happy with what I've got. So that actually took quite a bit of time, and I did it because I needed slime for some of these farms that we're going to be upgrading. So it was all worth it in the long run, and now we've got a slime farm. The unfortunate thing is that it kind of ruined this ruined village. It ruined it more because I had to mob proof a lot of this top layer here, so there's just torch spam everywhere, and yeah, it's there's pumpkins in the water. It's not looking amazing anymore, but it is what it is. We'll find a way maybe to make that look pretty somehow in the future, but this village, if we do anything with it and I don't just level it and have it one flat platform up here, we will find a way to make it look pretty. But for now, we've got a tower to make look pretty, and eventually, hopefully very soon, taller, because I keep referring to this as a tower, and it's more of a coliseum. This is a pretty pathetic tower, but we will get there. In the meantime, I think that I am going to begin work on the melon farm to go on top of this, and there's so many things that we need to do. I really want a super smelter, because currently, these are my super smelter. This is nothing. This is bad. These are bad. Go away. So I do need to work on those, but that involves me knowing what I'm going to do with these quarter sections here, and my enchanting setup is not very enchanting as is. So lots of things to do. I'm going to try and get that melon farm done. Now that I've built one, it's going to be the exact same thing as this on top, but with some green and maybe pink concrete, because some of our farms are going to be green. We got cactus and we got sugarcane, so I think maybe if not all pink, then green and pink for, you know, a watermelon type thing. So let me get cracking on that. Also, you'll notice that I have one line here, and this is not a water line. These are hoppers. I tried to get some automatic hopper unloaders, and it just wasn't really doing it for me. They were being very unreliable. So what I have is our hopper minecart just rolls over like 10 hoppers on its way, or on its back end of the loop here. And for the amount that this farm produces, that's actually more than enough to pick it all up without some fancy-dancy loading system. So, line of hoppers there, line of hoppers there, covered them all in spruce trapdoors, and then I've just got it running down here, directly piped into this storage system here. So this will be for just pumpkins, and then the one beside it will be for just melons. And this one was for just chickens, but I had to move it so that I could get this hopper line in. And I know this is a waste of hoppers and a waste of iron, but I'm iron rich, baby. I don't care. I'll use hoppers all day long. They're quiet and they're reliable. So let's get a crackin' on the next stage of this, and I would really like to get a bunch of farms done in this episode. So I've got a new design for my wool farm. The problem with this is I may have screwed up by putting trapdoors and glass over top of this to begin with, but it doesn't matter right now because there is a bug that makes lightning go through anything. It's absolutely insane. My SMP group that I'm working with, they are brilliant technical people, and they are trying to figure out a way to... Why was that hopper minecart going so slow? Yeah, we need to redesign this whole thing. They are figuring out a way to stop the lightning under any circumstance. So as is, I can't AFK at this farm area overnight because lightning will strike those sheep no matter what. So we got a little bit of work to do there. And even if I was to put it underground under this tower, it would still happen. I know, it's an insane bug that needs to get fixed ASAP, Mojang. Please, our farms are getting ravaged. So let's get a crackin'. Well, I have taken a few unexpected turns of events, but we are well underway to our second part of the farm. And it is way faster after you've built something the first time, building the second part of it. or just copying it over, because a lot of the first section was design work, and boy, that can take up some time. What's really taking up my time is that I lost my redstone box. I have searched everywhere, and I don't know where it is. My shulker with all of my redstone stuff in it is just gone. I'm afraid maybe it broke and despawned somewhere when I didn't pick it up. I don't know, but that basically means I need to start all from scratch making all my redstone stuff again, which isn't the end of the world. It's kind of a pain to craft everything, but the real problem was that I didn't have any cobblestone, so I had to go to the mines and stock up on cobblestone, because a lot of redstone stuff requires cobblestone. So now, after that quite lengthy detour, we are back on track, and I can start putting in some observers, and then the hopper line, and then this thing is just about complete. I'll add some more pink on top there, and I think that the pink and the green will make a pretty cute combination for this thing. So yeah, I'm happy with it. It took me a while to get all of the materials, obviously, because I had to go mining, but I ended up with a bunch of diamonds, which is always fun. You know, that's always neat to have. I don't really need them, but whatever. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So let's finish off the top half of our thing there, and also I really like this. This is why I left the floors glass, because seeing everything light up like that makes me really happy. So, little side note there. All right, let's finish this farm. I said, babe, I'm sorry, but I'm crazy tonight. Whoa, whoa. Well, all technical difficulties and supply problems out of the way, this is what we're working with here. And I actually think this turned out really nice. So we have the piping going in here, and I kind of wish that it wasn't wood, but they don't have any other options for trapdoors that are solid, which I really wish that they would add to the game, like some colorful ones or something, but something that's solid. You can't see through it. That's what spruce trapdoors have really got going for them. So that's cool. Those, like, they do look good, and eventually this won't look so out of place because there'll be other ones going into here as well when this is all cleaned up and kind of more in this style. But I do think this turned out really good. It's a little bit flat for me personally, but I don't see how we would give it you know, like a lip or depth or anything like that without just becoming more of in the way. The reason I redesigned this, and what I'm going to do with all of these farms and everything in the future, is really try to like make it longer, flat, and push it against these walls so that I do have room to fly in and out here. Like this obviously isn't working with the walkways and stuff like that. I can't fly through this way. So that's kind of my thinking with it. And, you know, I think that the concrete was a great idea, and I wish that there was more light up top here. Like, the lights on the side look really good, but I think it would really benefit from, like, a strip of light across the top there, which there just really isn't room for. I'd have to go into that glass or something like that. So I don't think that that will work. But with the carpet on top, you can kind of see that it has a natural light going over it. And that is because there's jack-o'-lanterns underneath here on top of the pistons, which is actually what is providing the light for the pumpkins and melons to grow. So light passes through carpets. So actually, when it is nighttime, which it just was and I slept, and I should have shown you, that top lights up as well. And that kind of takes care of that lighting issue for me. So from this angle, it is a little bit bleh right there, but if you are anywhere above it, it does glow up quite a bit. So I think that overall I'm very happy with it, and quite frankly, I've been working on these two stupid little farms for quite a while, and it's extra counterproductive because I tore out a perfectly decent farm in order to make these, but these have been producing way more than my previous farm was, and I am very happy with it. So literally probably 4 stacks of that, and I just finished this, and honestly, like, probably 3 stacks of melon slices that have been produced since I've been working on these. So that is going to be super great because those will be great for trading in the future. And I've used jack-o'-lanterns a surprising amount this series so far, so I might keep using those. They make really good light sources, especially underwater. So what are we going to do next? You know what I want to do next? I think that I want to tackle one of these quadrants down here, because it's pretty safe to assume that whatever I do up top, it's not really going to like drag down into here or anything like that. And probably what I'll do is more of the same with like translucent floors and stuff like that, but up there where it's kind of out of the way. So I feel like we've got a little bit of space in these quadrants, in these quarter sections to work with. And I don't know what I want to tackle right now. This is actually just kind of bothering me because it's floating and it's so ugly, but it's not really... I don't need enchanting right now. I think I've enchanted like just a few times this series so far. So a nice like enchanting setup is going to be great, but it will be largely aesthetic and just kind of like a statement piece and stuff like that. What I think I want is a super smelter. So I might, this is still taken up by so much storage that I just haven't transferred to our main units yet. And I actually need to hook up like our automatic sorter and whatnot, but I don't really feel like working on storage right now. So I think maybe I will take this section here with my time left in this episode and see if I can make it into a super smelter area. Maybe taking advantage of this like 90-degree angle here and have it on the inside and have the smelter right there. And then just kind of like a blacksmithy area here. That sounds cool. Let me noodle away at that a little bit, and I'll see what I can come up with. And yes, I'm going to ignore these chests that are just keep building up that I just don't... I'm not in the mood for storage today, so that's going to pile up until I feel like working on it. But let's see if we can get a super smelter set up. It won't be anything like insanely crazy, but I think that we can come up with something that looks really nice. So this is what I was talking about with that light. And I think that what this base really, really needed was some color. And this, especially in the dark, looks really, really cool. Oh, as you can see here, man, I'm the worst flyer in the world. As you can see here, it just... that little bit of color, and I added that as like a temporary measure or whatever. But that was the only other really popping color with the wools and whatnot. But this as a permanent fixture is looking awesome. And I don't mind this tubing being kind of a bland wood because it really doesn't draw your attention, and that's what I like about it. And you can see what I mean with the wool carpets and the light on top there. It looks really, really excellent from above. So, loving it. Glad we made this decision. Now, okay, back to the project at hand. And voila! Super smelter complete. It is not super done up right now. This area hasn't been decorated or anything. I just swapped out the floor because it was looking very gray. But obviously we need lighting and all that jazz, but I think I'm going to wait on that until I have a better idea of what's going to be going over top of this bad boy. In the meantime, it is functional, and it's not looking terrible if I do say so myself. This was not a design by anybody. I just started building and saw what was going to happen, and I'm pretty happy with it. So as you can see, if we pop in some materials there, flick that lever, and well, why isn't that? It's out of fuel. Okay, well, I was running it for some tests for a while, but I'll throw some more fuel in there, and then you get the idea. They will all light up. So it's 16 furnaces, so that should smelt a stack of stuff pretty quickly for me. And during my testing, I actually ended up smelting quite a bit of smooth stone, which we will probably be using in future projects here. So I'm just going to turn this off for now. And I think the very next thing I'm going to do is tackle that wool farm, because this isn't doing it for me anymore. Now that I see this, I'm like, oh, this is where it's at. This is ugly. So that is my next project, and I just finished creating something in creative that I'm very happy with, that I think is going to look excellent right up there. But that is a project for another day because this episode is getting a little long. So I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Fiasco, and I'll catch you in the next one.